Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. On my crackhead update. I just came back a few minutes ago and took me a shower and everything. I went on my little walk. And I walked by this apartment complex and the Super Crip came back out again. And I told him, I said, I got some dudes I know over in Oak Cliff, man. They Crips too, man. I say they love to do drive-bys. I said, I'm gonna call them over here and introduce you to them. He said, no. He said, I don't need to see those guys. I'm a Playboy Crip. He said, the mayor of Dallas, he's a Crip. He said, we just had a Crip meeting. He said, me and my old lady, that's all we do. We wake up and hit each other up every day. We just sit there in the house just hitting each other. He said, man, we got our own lane. We hit each other, me and my old lady. She's a Cripette. And that's all we do, man. We Crip, man. I was born a Crip. I said, yeah. He said, I'm going to have to send to Los Angeles and get me some more help. He said, because he got too many of them out here. They set trip too much. I said, the mayor of Dallas is a Crip? He said, hell yeah, the mayor's a Crip. You didn't know that? He said, that's why I'm able to do all the things I do. He said, I got the green light. I said, yeah, okay, man. He said, I said, can I join your Crip set? He said, no. So you got to put in a lot of work, and I don't think you up to it, man, because we put in work all over the city of Dallas. We go all over Fort Worth and everywhere, man. I said, yeah, I talked to a guy who lived over there a while, and he was speaking of somebody shot one of his family members in West Dallas. I said, I'm gonna introduce you to him because he thinking you might be one of the guys who shot one of his family members. He said, no, West Dallas. He said, I don't even know if we was in West Dallas or not when I did that drive-by. It might have been Irving, but all I know was west of Dallas. Man, this man can't get his life straight. I said, you sure? I said, y'all did a drive-by. He said, oh my mama, oh my mama. This lying-ass bastard. Say, I got mad. Say, I had another crackhead update, but I didn't want to do her like that, man. She was just laying there in the park, cold as hell, laying on that concrete, sleeping. And I started to film her, but a Dallas Independent School District police officer pulled up, and I didn't want to get her arrested or make her ran out. She looked like she was sleeping. She was tired, been up all night chasing that crack or whatever she was doing. So I just left her alone. That's my crackhead update. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out. And let's get ready to ride. I got a new video I uploaded over on Patreon. I finally got my Wi-Fi working right. So I got a new video on Patreon. The link will be in the description if you're not already join my Patreon. And I need my likes up on this video. Yeah, people have asked me in the comment section, what's the deal on the green bandana? Well, years ago in a Texas prison, guys thought that was fly. On a Friday night after all the work is over with, we would get together. Some guys would actually have wine. Guys who drink, they would have some what they call chalk, homemade wine. And a lot of guys would drink a pretty. They drink it used to be a soda, it'd be a Sprite, 7-Up, or Coke, any type of soda really. And heat it up and put about 2 teaspoons of coffee in it. Crush up a peppermint stick and put that peppermint stick in it. If you had some Kool-Aid, you put the Kool-Aid in it. We call it a pretty. Man, you see guys sitting around with their, either they got a white handkerchief that's starched and iron, or they got a bandana. Because back in the day, they sold bandanas in the prison commissary. And you see a guy sitting there with his starched bandana across his shoulder just like this, and he'll say, come on, man, let's turn some corners. That means let's ride. And you and your homeboy or homeboys, y'all sit and kick it. And we thought that was the style. You look at some of the old Texas prison, you'll see a guy with a bandana across his shoulder. It don't mean nothing about gang affiliation. That's why I picked the off-color green. Now, hell, I don't know of no gang that use the color green. It might be some, but I don't know of any. I had one person in the comment section ask me about why in my last video, Spoil Sport, the guy, Cat turned that case into the district attorney's office and that guy received a life sentence. Why did that happen when some guys just receive disciplinary or some guys don't receive anything? Well, it was, he talked shit to Cat, and it was the manner that he killed this guy. He only didn't kill the guy, he removed his penis also and flushed it down the toilet. Now, Cat had a thing. He don't want to see you get beat up with handcuffs on, with your hands behind your back. Now, this guy was handcuffed. And these other inmate guards wanted to beat the hell out of him. Now, Cat stopped that. He ain't going to let that happen. He'll tell you this. You should have whooped his ass when he didn't have them handcuffs on. Now his hands behind his back, you not going to jump him. So he was fair in his own way. In his own way, he was fair as hell. Compared that that he's running a penal institution. Because back then it was hardcore prison. Wasn't none of this babysitting shit like it is now. The way you talk to Cat, you couldn't even come close to telling one of these modern wardens that same thing. You was to tell him you go and kill another inmate, man, they taking you straight to lockup. They ain't gonna even play with you. You can't say no kind of shit like that by threatening an inmate. They'll twist it up and say, the disciplinary read, threatened an inmate or staff. They're going to put the or staff on there. And you're going to be royally screwed. It depends on what prison you at and how that classification committee looked at. You might go to administrative segregation. You might go. Depends on what prison you at. But you're not allowed to defend yourself in no Texas prison. I don't care what the other guy do to you. If you retaliate or you fight back and he's get hurt, you got serious consequences. Now, that really don't mean nothing. Depends on the length of your sentence. You a guy serving a life sentence, got to serve 40 years. The hell with receiving some more time, 7, 8 years, and they'd say, what the hell are they going to bother you for? You got to serve 40 years just to come up for parole. And I use this phrase all the time. If you go in a Texas prison with a 40 or 50-year sentence, for any type of violence, your parole officer is not even born yet. You're going to be there a long time before you eligible. Key word, eligible for parole. They ain't say you was going to make it. You're just eligible to be interviewed by TDCJ parole officer. That don't mean you're going nowhere. They just start the process. What do you think about you? Finally, they'll locate your file and get all the dust off. If it's 25, 30 years old, they'll clean out, get all the dust off of it, and then look at your case. Now, if you got life with no parole, what is you worrying about? Consequences. It's too late for that. You should have worried about all that before you committed the crime, and you would not be in that position. It's too late. Your life is over. Unless a miracle happens, your life is basically over with. You're going to age, grow old, die in a Texas prison. You ain't going nowhere. And gradually the population is increasing because a lot of juries in Texas are not sentencing people to death. They're giving them a life with no parole. You still is a walking dead man. Just living in general population. But you still is a walking dead man. Now, I've talked to some guys on death row, and, it didn't make no sense what they said. They said, I'd rather go ahead and receive the lethal injection than to be in prison 30 or 40 years. And I'm looking at where you be on death row 10 to 15 to 20 years here. So what's the difference between living here and then living in the general population? I think I would take my chance in general population. Hell, you don't know what might happen. A tornado might hit the prison, knock the whole damn fence down, and you can just walk out. You don't know what's going to happen. Or ain't counting the things that you can make happen on your own. I'm of the philosophy that if You committed all these heinous crimes on the outside. You shouldn't expect no empathy from another inmate or prison administrator. Live in prison just like you lived on the outside. You didn't show empathy toward no one. You did not care about no one. How are you going to go rob a 85-year-old woman who done lived all her life, never harmed nobody, but you go and rob this old lady? You don't give a damn about you might break this lady's leg and it'll never heal up. You don't give a damn what happened to her. You don't care. So likewise, it follows you shouldn't be expecting no one to show you empathy. And my prison stay went a lot better because I never expected nothing. All I looked at it is I got life. I'm not going nowhere. The hell with it. That's how I looked at it. It took me a long time for me to start putting things together that I've learned through the years. I learned how to do the time, but I chose not to. I was reactionary because I didn't give a damn. I didn't care about the consequences. And my time went a lot better like that. But back in the day, they kept you so busy with all that hard-ass work. Man, you didn't have time to ponder over your worldly problems. You did not have that kind of time. You had to think about how to make it. If you were dealing with old Lord every day, you got to think about how you're going to make it back to the prison. There ain't no guarantee you're going to make it through old Lord. You don't know what mood he's in. And he would shoot the shit out of you. If you worked around, you would get to see him in action and you would know that this man is not bluffing. He will kill your ass, graveyard dead. That's his favorite saying. I will kill your ass, graveyard dead, and let my Father in heaven figure it out later on. Because I'm the God of all niggas. That's what he would tell you. I am your God. In heaven, it's me. I am the Son of God. Now you looking at this crazy ass man and he's serious as hell. You don't see no smile on his face. Let me see you smile. I love to see one of these modern guys deal with old Lord and think he's a joke. You going to the morgue, because back then they didn't do autopsy. Wasn't nobody gonna know how you died. They just gonna bury your ass. They're going to take you in, they're going to build a casket, they're going to take you out the next day and bury your ass. And be no autopsy. And they'll write and tell your family that you tried to escape. And you were shot in the process. That was their line. Prove that it didn't happen. A lot of guys back in the day didn't have no outside support. So these people they run over you. They had good intelligence. They know how many letters you received from home, who wrote you. They know all that shit. They got it wrote down. And you a guy never get letters, nobody visits you, man, they will make your ass disappear. They will take you off the count. You do the wrong thing, your ass will disappear in a Texas prison. I tell people, they got the main graveyard in Huntsville, Joe Bird Cemetery. But all the old prisons got their own private graveyard. So people need to go look at those graves and look at the age. They got the guy's age and some of them name on the grave. You need to go look at how many people they killed in 1 year. Just look, I can just count back on Ramsey. Man, so many people disappear. A lot of people disappear. And they had an inmate to step up in case something went wrong to say, I got in a fight with this guy, and during the course of this fight, he died. In a case, they closed it. They kept inmates on standby. One of the inmate guards would step up and say, yeah, me and him got in a fight. He disrespected me, and I beat him to death. They sweep it under the rug. It's business as usual. This shit had been going on for over 100 years. Same shit. It wasn't no change forthcoming until the Ruiz versus Estelle lawsuit. Until then, it was violence. That's how they solved everything. They had certain prisons that are a lot more violent than the other prisons. It depends on your age, the type of crime you got, and your conduct record in a Texas prison, whether you hit one of those prisons or not. And if they couldn't handle you at Ferguson, they'll just send you across the river to Eastham. And they'll deal with you at Eastham. They ain't going to even play with you. They're going to start from day one. As soon as you get off that bus, whoop your ass right on the spot to introduce you to Eastham. Hey, everything you done heard about this prison is true. They're going to whoop your ass. That's just the first ass whoop. That ain't the only one you're going to get during that day. You got to go and see the warden. They have another ass whooping is. Then they had a special little trick for you. They'll give you a blank piece of paper. When you get to your cell block, they'll tell you, give this to that building tender on your cell block. That means for them to whoop your ass again. So you better hope somebody see you in the hallway and say, hey, man, they give you a piece of paper. You say, yeah. You say, hey, throw that paper away, man. Because you walked up and handed that inmate guard that blank piece of paper. They're going to whoop your ass again. That's 3 ass whooping you done got just arriving at a prison. You ain't haven't did nothing at this prison, but they going to whoop your ass to show you, hey, just what you did at Ferguson, you would not do here. Now, I've seen a lot of guys, same way if you fucked up at Eastham, they got tired of you and shipped you down to Ramsey. Same treatment. If you got shipped over to the Retrieve Unit in Angleton, same treatment. You got shipped to the Ellis Unit in Huntsville, the same treatment. All those prisons are going to whoop your ass because those 4 prisons were set aside for the bad boys. So you got sent to one of those prisons, you know what time it was. There's going to be no love shown you at all. I mean, none. The inmates don't give a damn, and you don't give a damn. That's why I caught on real fast. I said, these fuck-ass inmates don't give a damn about nobody. So I don't give a damn about them. Now, guys in the county jail had told me, man, a lot of these guys is dogs, man. You got some guys here who are good dudes, man. They don't want to bother nobody. They just want to do their time and go home. You got to discern which guy to hurt, which guy not. Because you been to hurt some poor guy who really wouldn't even bother you at all. He just trying to make it another day, man, get his ass out of prison. Because back in the day, if you didn't catch disciplinary, you know you was going home unless you was a mass rapist, mass murderer, or you killed a police officer. With those 3 cases, you know you was going to be in prison. Anybody besides those 3 type of convictions, they were going home. You wasn't going to be in a Texas prison a long time. When you saw a guy in Texas prison been locked up 25 years or so, that's the type of case he had. Most guys had life. They didn't do but 12 years, 14 at the max on that life sentence, and he was out of prison. So I can understand why some guys went along with the program. They didn't want no problem with Cat. They go out and do their work and try to make it and don't run their mouth, talk about Malcolm X and all this shit, because back in the day, they were scared of Muslim. And you said anything about Malcolm X, they'd scare Wildcat to death. You're too scared of some kind of riot or insurrection because they know the whole system was crooked. And they know that. And it was just a matter of time before the inmates was going to uprise on them. They knew that. So if you one of those type of guys, discuss George Jackson and all that, you going to have problems out of Cat. Because one of the inmate guards find out about it and go tell him, you got major problems with him. Enough ranting and raving. Y'all give me some likes. I got the big boy right here. We ain't taking no shit. Y'all like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.